haven't always loved the internet. How are you seeing progress right now with all of that? Can you use it to your advantage?
It's a double-edged sword. You know, a lot of artists aren't getting paid full scale for their art, and the internet, because of downloading and things like that, is kind of like a black hole, and it's hard to audit, it's hard to get accounting, and it's not that it's just about the money, but it's about justice and fairness. And when people say that they love you and they respect you, but at the same time take, you know, 80% of your earnings, then expect you to fix your own communities, and they'll probably edit all of this out, but then it gets, that's the sharp part of the sword, and we're at the wrong end of it right now. So eventually, with courageous people going out there and actually saying something and standing up for it, I think we'll get some balance.
After 40-something years in the business, I'm like, well, why? Where are my royalties going? Because I'm not getting this. Come to find out, Universal Music has been receiving all my royalties, all my mechanicals. They've taken pretty much everything. They've stolen, I won't say stolen, but they have taken all the monies that were due to me. They have basically absorbed in that company. And even though there's several class action lawsuits, people that were working on my behalf never even registered the songs. All the songs that I've done, I'm only coming to find out they were not properly registered by the companies that I signed over to. People that were supposed to do their due diligence. So I am truly a walking testimony that God has carried me all this time. Because if you only knew how much money they have taken from me, how much they have stolen from me, monies that I'm supposed to be, I should have been able to retire 20 years ago with the money I've made.
All right, y'all, we're going to get into Prince and Angie Stone exposing the music industry. So, you know, Prince over the years been fighting, you know, before he passed, he'd been fighting, you know, years and years to get his masters back from Warner Brothers. And just up until Angie Stone died, she was getting ready to basically audit, you know, Universal Music Group to figure out where all her royalties went. Because according to her, they owe her millions and millions of dollars in back royalties that she haven't got paid for. She says she never received a gold plaque or a platinum plaque for the hits that she wrote for other people, or none of that. So we're going to go ahead and get into this, man. You know, Prince been speaking out over the years before he passed, about, you know, auditing, you know, having a hard time auditing these record companies based off the fact that it's a new way of streaming. So I want to get into, before we get into that, dive into that, I want to get into this, what a lot of people really don't speak about, and that's Angie Stone's collaboration with Prince. That no one, you know, because it wasn't like a major hit, hit on the charts. People kind of like forgot about, you know, this collaboration that they did back in 2001. So I wanted to get into this a little bit. So let's go ahead and get into this this article that was written about the how this collaboration came about.
Prince and Angie Stone collaborated on the song You Make My Sunshine, released in 2001. The song was a smooth, soulful ballad featuring Angie Stone's rich, warm vocals alongside Prince's signature falsetto and guitar work. Story behind the song: Prince was a fan of Angie Stone's work and reached out to collaborate with her. At the time, Stone was gaining recognition in the neo-soul movement, and her deep, gospel-infused voice complemented Prince's musical style perfectly. The track was part of a double A-side single, released alongside When Will We Be Paid, a cover of the Staple Singers' civil rights anthem. You Make My Sunshine wasn't part of an official studio album but was distributed as a single via Prince's NPG Music Club, his online platform at the time. The song itself is a lush, romantic ballad with a gospel-influenced sound, featuring uplifting lyrics about love and devotion. Angie Stone's vocals add warmth and soul, blending beautifully with Prince's smooth delivery. Though it didn't become a major commercial hit, You Make My Sunshine remains a fan-favorite collaboration, showcasing the deep admiration Prince had for Stone's artistry.
All right, so of course I can't play that song because it is a copyrighted song, and I don't want to get flagged for that. So y'all can go over and check out the song, and it's called "You Make My Sunshine." But let's go ahead and get into Prince. What I want to do is get into Prince, basically his predictions of the music industry and where it was going. So I want to go ahead and get into that article real quick. So this is an article put out by Vibe magazine. I need y'all to go ahead and click that like button and share this video if you can. Let's go ahead and get into it.
Prince was the first artist to package an album with concert tickets, and at the time received backlash for his chart placement. Upon the release of his 2004 album Musicology, Prince set out on tour and gave away the album with each purchase, which also counted as an album sale. The Fader reported that those free albums accounted for about 25% of Musicology's total sales, and Prince remained on the chart for 28 weeks. Shortly after, the publication changed its stance as chart editor. Jeff Mayfield argued, concert-goers must be given an option to either add the CD to the ticket purchase or forego the CD for a reduced ticket-only price. He added that the CD price should be comparable to reasonable and customary retail pricing. The new rule was then put in place that an album offered as part of a bundle would count towards a sale only once the buyer opts in and redeems it. Prince wasn't penalized on the charts at the time, but would set the tone going forward. Years later, however, bundling albums and merchandise would become a popular tactic to promote music and concert ticket sales. Artists of today bundle their music with clothing, subscription services, exclusive events, and more. Beyonce, Madonna, Taylor Swift, Nicki Minaj, Ariana Grande, Travis Scott, Kanye West, and more have all practiced the bundling tactic. In 2018, Minaj clapped back at Billboard upon offering a digital copy of her Queen album, a poster of the cover art, and a 3-month trial of Tidal, similar to what Travis Scott's Astro World had offered. Despite Minaj expanding her promotion of her album, she felt slighted by Billboard when it came to charting. Travis sold over 50,000 of these, with no requirement of redeeming the album, with no dates for a tour, etc. I spoke to him, she tweeted, in August 2018, about concert pre-sale rules and how Scott charted. He knows he doesn't have the #1 album this week. I looked at the numbers the Carters, Kanye, Nuz, etc. recently did. Travis sold 200,000 in his first week of clothes alone, she continued. In another tweet, I spoke to him last night and he said he's been selling clothes before the music. Billboard says they'll change the rules because of this, so it should be changed now.
1. More artists will own their masters. People think I'm a crazy fool for writing slave on my face, Prince told Rolling Stone in 1996 about gaining the masters to his catalog. But if I can't do what I want to do, what am I? When you stop a man from dreaming, he becomes a slave. That's where I was. I don't own Prince's music. If you don't own your masters, your master owns you. Prince's battle with his label, Warner Music Group, came to an end in 2014 when they finally reached a settlement allowing him to own all of his masters. Initially, when Warner refused his request, Prince decided to re-record all of his music on his own label NPG, creating consumer competition for the imprint. However, Prince eventually re-signed with Warner. Since the darling Nicki artist has been gone, many artists have taken a page out of Prince's book. It is ideal for artists to own their masters so that they can ultimately decide what to do with their own music. If an artist does not own his or her masters, a record label could grant a license to use that artist's music without their permission. Jay-Z, Rihanna, Frank Ocean, Iggy Azalea, Ciara, 21 Savage, Chance the Rapper, LL Cool J, and more have obtained most, if not all, of the masters to their catalogs. It was recently revealed that hip-hop's newest rapstress, Ice Spice, came into the game with ownership in mind. In a recent interview, Spice's manager James Roseman Jr. told Billboard that not only did the Princess Diana Reimer retain the rights to her music, but she also has full creative control. No one on the label side touches the music, 10K co-president Zach Friedman said. There is no traditional and/or with her. No one's picking beats, no one's saying, do this, do that. It's all her. We're on her schedule. Ice Spice's deal is rare for an up-and-coming artist, and she partially has Prince to thank for speaking up for artist ownership. 2. Digital streaming will not pay artists respectfully. Since the onset of digital streaming platforms, Prince was against the idea. The icon didn't want his music streamed on apps like YouTube, iTunes, and more, although he did take a liking to Jay-Z's title. Following the release of his 2010 album 2010, Prince declared that the internet is completely over. He added, I don't see why I should give my new music to iTunes or anyone else. They won't pay me in advance for it, and then they get angry when they can't get it. They just fill your head with numbers, and that can't be good for you, Mirror reported. Tell me a musician who's got rich off digital sales, he went on. Apple's doing pretty good though, right? Tidal was the only streaming platform able to obtain Prince's catalog, although some singles are exclusive on different platforms. Artists today also struggle with streaming services like Spotify, iTunes, and more, hence why many are touring more and relying on physical merchandise for profit. Back in October, Diddy released a video going off about digital streaming platforms and how they try to control the way artists release their music and get paid. Yeah, we gotta change tone, the Bad Boy CEO said. Check this out, if you work for Apple or Spotify and y'all got these rules and regulations, we gotta drop our music when you want us to drop our music. Yo, I drop my music when the FK I want to drop my music. And y'all gonna have to catch up, it's all good. 3. Major labels won't exist much longer. Prince declared years ago that record labels won't exist much longer. Although labels are still up and running, more artists have moved away from the binding conditions of major label contracts to independently release music and profit from it. In 2004, Prince was transparent on why he wasn't fond of major labels, stating that contracts were another form of slavery. The way I looked at it, I owned the work because I paid for it. I created it, so I felt like it should belong to me, Prince stated. That said, the record companies felt otherwise. They would always hold this contract up and say, well, you signed it. And I just want to talk about this thing and see if we can make it more fair. Of course they wouldn't change, because if they changed, they wouldn't really exist anymore. Many artists have taken the independent route since then, including Chance the Rapper, Frank Ocean, Tyler the Creator, the late Nipsey Hussle, and many more. In 2017, Chance the Rapper found himself going back and forth with DJ Booth about the validity of him being an independent artist. As the platform called his success as an indie artist misleading to the average artist still trying to come up, Chance fired back with, y'all steady telling PPL they need a label publisher distributor to achieve success as an artist. That's a lie. He added, it's only unrealistic because of the conditioning all artists are exposed to by different forms of media creating the narrative that you need to be discovered or put on in order to be successful. We wouldn't seek out deals if MFS knew there were other avenues. He then advised fans to also have some damn patience. All your favorite artists are locked up in deals, and until they get out you won't see the realization of their full potential. 4. Artists bundling albums with merchandise. Prince was the first artist to package an album with concert tickets, and at the time received backlash for his chart placement. Upon the release of his 2004 album Musicology, Prince set out on tour and gave away the album with each purchase, which also counted as an album sale. The Fader reported that those free albums accounted for about 25% of Musicology's total sales, and Prince remained on the chart for 28 weeks. Shortly after, the publication changed its stance as chart editor Jeff Mayfield argued, concertgoers must be given an option to either add the CD to the ticket purchase or forego the CD for a reduced ticket-only price. He added that the CD price should be comparable to reasonable and customary retail pricing. The new rule was then put in place that an album offered as part of a bundle would count towards a sale only once the buyer opts in and redeems it. Prince wasn't penalized on the charts at the time, but would set the tone going forward. Years later, however, bundling albums and merchandise would become a popular tactic to promote music and concert ticket sales. Artists of today bundle their music with clothing, subscription services, exclusive events, and more. Beyoncé, Madonna, Taylor Swift, Nicki Minaj, Ariana Grande, Travis Darlacott, Kanye West, and more have all practiced the bundling tactic. In 2018, Minaj clapped back at Billboard upon offering a digital copy of her Queen album, a poster of the cover art, and a 3-month trial of Tidal, similar to what Travis Dollarcott's Astroworld had offered. Despite Minaj expanding her promotion of her album, she felt slighted by Billboard when it came to charting. Travis sold over 50K of these, with no requirement of redeeming the album. With no dates for a tour, etc. I spoke to him, she tweeted in August 2018 about concert presale rules and how Dollarcott charted. He knows he doesn't have the #1 album this week. I looked at the numbers the Carters, Kanye, Nas, etc. recently did. Travis sold 200K in his first week of close alone, she continued in another tweet. I spoke to him last night and he said he's been selling closed B for the music. Billboard says they'll change the rules because of this, so it should be changed now. 5. Sampling the sampled will get out of hand in 2023. Artists have made sampling the sample that's already been sampled a thing. Latto's 2022 smash hit Big Energy features a sample from Mariah Carey's 1995 Fantasy, which first sampled Tom Tom Club's 1981 single Genius of Love. Some of Prince's timeless hits have also been sampled by artists including Jay-Z, Tupac, Kanye West, Diddy, MC Lyte, and more.
So I wanted to jump into that real quick before we jump back into Prince. So I had to Google, artists, what do artists do when they audited the record company. So it says the artists audit their record labels to ensure that the labels is following the terms of their contract. This can help the artists understand their rights and to ensure that they receive their earnings. How can an artist audit the record labels? Hire a royalty auditor. It says artists can hire a qualified auditor to review the financial records and royalty statements. Use the Royalty Review Council. In California, the Royalty Review Council can audit the record labels on behalf of multiple artists. What can an audit find? Whether the label can accurately accounting for songs, collaborations, and royalty sources. Whether the label is paying artists their earnings. Whether the label is fulfilling other contractual obligations. It says, why is the audit important? Audit can help artists understand that their business and if the contract terms need to be renegotiated. Audits can help protect artists from the book cooking, embezzlements. Yeah, they love cooking them books.
90s soul singer Angie Stone takes to her Instagram to expose a secret of the industry. Stone claimed that they conspired to blackball her from the music industry due to some higher-ups saying she was the reason singer D'Angelo was hooked on alcohol and drugs, ruining his career. Angie Stone and singer D'Angelo were in a romantic relationship in the 1990s, have a son together, and have influenced each other's careers. Stone has said that D'Angelo's ego and pride are preventing him from working with her again. She has said that he doesn't want to share the spotlight and that his career has hit a standstill because of this. Let's dive into this clip of Stone revealing why she hasn't been on the music scene due to being blackballed.
It is once again a secret to reveal today about my life in the industry and how I have weathered the storm. One of the things is that I'm going to reveal today has to do with why I have not been being on tour a lot and doing a whole bunch of dates. I'll give you the tea on that based on what I've heard. A lot of stuff that has been said to my team, my management, and it's a little disturbing, but not surprising. And I'll tell you why, because we know that the enemy does not play fair. We'll try to back up a little bit so you guys can see me. Anyway, I just saw Jackson name. First and foremost, let's send our prayers and our condolences to the Jackson family. Miss Catherine Jackson, who is 92 years young, has to bury another one of her children. It has to be very hard to do that. And we just want to send up our prayers to the family. Please, I try very hard not to cancel any shows. I generally try to make all my dates. Because what's happening in life is, everybody wants to, well, when you going to do your biopic? People want to know about D'Angelo and I. I mean, my life does not start or stop with D'Angelo. Life goes on. It was going on before I met him. It will continue to go on. And I think people are so one-track minded that they really are, when are you going to do a story? Because they really want to say, can you tell us about D'Angelo? Okay, I'm going to tell you honestly, no, I just won't talk about one person because there were many people in my life that had a significant space that meant, the world to me. Of course, D'Angelo and I were very good friends, but I need for you to know that as wonderful as that friendship has been, it came with a lot of challenges. And I'll tell you the nature of the industry based on a secret that I recently found out from someone who is credible, that let me in on some things that I didn't know even up until lately. And I have to tell you, it was shocking just to find out. But in any event, I will share them with you and let you know the devil don't play fair. No, this is not Angie Stone's life story, but what it is a peek into what inquiry minds want to know. Back when I was in a very high-profile relationship with D'Angelo, shortly after the breakup between us, everything kind of slowed down in my world in terms of tour dates, work. The perception was the worst, of course. But I was accepting everything pretty good and said, look, life goes on. I can't stop because I have fans all over the world that are depending on me to keep doing music, to keep pushing through. So, of course, I'm trying to do tour dates and continue to work. And it recently came to me because, of course, people wanted to know my story. They wanted to do my biopic. And it came to me via one of the employees that worked for that company that represented him. And they said to me, whoever's doing your story, can I please be a voice in the room? I would love to give some input from things that I knew. And it's time that the truth be told. And I'm like, well, what are you talking about? Because the first you got to tell me. Well, it was told to me. Are you guys ready for this one? Ooh. Anyway, it was told to me that they were single-handedly put in charge of sending out letters everywhere to make people think that I was the cause of him being exposed to alcohol, to drugs, to everything that could have gone wrong. And we need you to mail this out. And that person knew that it was all fabricated. And they were willing to go on record. And they don't care today, but they're willing to go on record to tell the truth. You can imagine how shocked I was to know that they actually mailed letters out into the industry blaming me for the fall and the demise of someone's career. It really gets me upset because I don't do drugs. I don't do any of this stuff that a lot of people have fallen victim to. I will tell you this, as a young person, we all tried things, but no, I have never single. I wouldn't want the chastisement from God for being responsible for breaking another person's gifting. That's not cool. So the person let me know, and it's gone on record to say that when the time comes, they will step up to the mic and let it be known that was their assignment, to destroy my credibility by way of making me look crazy in a relationship that was innocent and pure and real. As a matter of fact, it was so real and pure, you could tell by the nourishment of the music then was just pleasant. It was real. It was pure. As a result, and I can only imagine the damage that stuff did to my career. I got a reputation at that point of being difficult and being hard to deal with. And I am a person that stands by everything I believe in. So if you try to take advantage of me, I will check you. I ain't gonna say that I won't, but I won't check you to the point where it's obnoxious, because God fights all my battles. Okay? And all I can say is a lot of the promoters, people that would book me, all of a sudden they don't want to book me because I'm problematic, because of possibly the damage that was sent to destroy me. They wanted to make sure that the energy was disconnected, that the soul was disconnected, that the tie that binded us was destroyed. So the enemy did a personal attack on me. So there I was, fighting tooth and nail to at least maintain my stability in the industry. No filter. Now, do I blame D'Angelo? Absolutely not. He was just as much a victim as I was, because there's no way he could have known, or at least I don't want to say he knew. But I don't think that he knew completely that they were sending out these letters, or they set out to destroy me. Because I believe in the scheme of things, he would have said, no, I'm not doing that. I know his heart. I do know the person that I was with. So at a time, things got convoluted because everybody else had their hands in the pot, and they would do just about anything to destroy and control. The devil is the master of confusion. And if you can clearly look at this secret that I'm revealing, it was clear that I wasn't supposed to find out. And over 25 years has passed, and I found out. That's how long it took me to find out that there was a whole process and brigade of letters and let's calculate this move so that she will never, ever rise above. I mean, to the day, I have not received not one platinum or gold record that I had written for those projects, because along with all of that came, you know, we don't need her to have anything to prove that she did anything. That's horrible. So that's a very painful secret to reveal for me, because my music is my gift. It's my livelihood. It's everything I believe in. It's what I love. It's a healing point for me and for so many other people. So I think for it to be toyed with in the way that it has been for the embodiment of other people's growth, you don't try to annihilate another situation to grow your own brand. It's just not cool.
If you crave nature but still shop online, Night and Day Herbals is your dream come true. Discover premium herbal soaps, shampoos, and CBD products. All organic, all for you. Shop now at nightandayherbals.com.